Communication is key, and there is never a bad time to talk to your kids about difficult situations such as drugs, alcohol, and mental health. Join us in the next 30 minutes as we learn how to do just that and connect parents to resources if they need assistance. I'm Kristy Breslin, and this is Harford MagaScene.
Lori Rajala joins us today. She's the manager of the Harford County Local Management Board. She is here to tell us about all the wonderful services they provide and how they can help us. Hi, Lori.
Hey, Kristy.
Lori, what is the Harford County Local Management Board, and what is their role in the county?
So the Harford County Local Management Board is the coordinator of family and youth services in the county. We meet 5 times a year, and there's 25 members on the board. So we provide funding for different programs for youth in the county. The board is responsible for the local care team, and we also do a community assessment every 3 years that looks at different strengths and weaknesses in the community and where gaps in resources are and where services are needed, all around families and youth.
Let's go back to the fundraising. What all does the board support?
So we fund a bunch of different programs in the county for youth. We provide funding to Harford Community Action Agency for their Parenting Inside Out program, which is a parent skills training program for families affected by incarceration. And then we also provide funding to them for their Reducing Childhood Hunger initiative, which helps families become kind of food secure and economically stable and self-sufficient around food choices. We provide inter-county outreach funding for Project Seek, which looks at the effects of intergenerational incarceration on families. And then we also provide funding to the Success Project, which is based out of the Havre de Grace Housing Authority in Lassos for the Getting Ahead in a Just Getting By world, which looks at the effects of poverty on individuals and how strategies to look at different causes of poverty and things like that.
You mentioned overseeing the local care team. What exactly is that, and who do they service?
So the goal of the local care team is to provide resources to families in the county who have kids that have high needs. So we meet with families and meet with parents and provide resources and community supports for family with kids that might be having some challenges. So there's 9 members. It is the local management board, the Department of Juvenile Services, the Department of Social Services, the health department, the school system, the Office on Mental Health, Maryland Coalition of Families, the Division of Rehabilitation Services, and the Developmental Disabilities Administration. And we meet 2 or 3 times a month.
What about the referral process?
So parents can self-refer. So if you go on the Department of Community Services website, they can find a referral form online that parents can fill out themselves and submit to me, or one of the agencies on the team can refer. The referrals come to me, and I coordinate and do all the logistics of the meetings.
Now that's a lot of information to digest. So let's talk about more information that is given to the parents. What should we focus on?
I would recommend that they submit a referral. They come in. The parent has to be at the meeting. The care team does not meet unless the parent is there because they are they're the advocate for the child. And we just provide resources. It is a lot of information. There's a lot of people at the table that are very knowledgeable about the county and the resources that the county has. But it's almost like, I've heard it referred to as like a brainstorming session, and it just provides parents, it's just another tool for parents to use. Parents can take the information and do what they want with it. It's just another resource for parents, and every county has one, actually.
What really sets Harford County apart with all these new programs that they're implementing?
So I really feel like, we are such a small county, and I feel like the members on the team have worked together very well for a very long time, and I feel like Harford County does a good job of letting people know what is available, and since it is a small county, I think we all work very well together. And there's a cohesion and a real partnership on the team that helps families move forward with getting help.
Laurie, thanks again so much. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Sure, thanks.
Now, throughout the county, we've seen many ads that say Harford Talks. What exactly does that mean? What is that campaign all about? That's straight ahead. Tara Lathrop is the administrator of the Harford County Office of Drug Control Policy. She is here to tell us about all their services today and how they can assist you. Hi, Tara.
Hi.
Now, Tara, in movie theaters, billboards all across the county, we're seeing hashtag Harford Talks. What exactly is that? What does that mean?
So actually last spring we created a new campaign called Harford Talks, and in that campaign is 3 different components, one being the billboards that you just mentioned, and in the one billboard it actually has children in the back seat of a car, and that's to encourage parents to talk to their kids about drugs, alcohol, and mental health, and that any time could be a teachable moment. The other component to it is that we have PSAs in the movie theaters. So we run that during the summertime and during the winter break. So we're catching kids at the time that they're not in school. And this is also another way to encourage parents to talk to their kids. And in the PSAs, I don't know if you got a chance to see them yet in the movie theater, but we use a humorous component to it. So we have a awkward conversation that's occurring, and our hashtag is that don't make conversations talking to your kids awkward or make it feel difficult. So we kind of want to lighten the mood and then encourage parents and reassure them that talking to their kids about drugs and alcohol and mental health doesn't have to be a scary topic for them. And then the third component for it is that we have the Harford Talks website.
Now let's talk more about the Harford Talks website. What exactly can we find on there? What kind of information? What kind of resources?
So on the website, we have age-appropriate conversation starters, so anywhere from kids from preschool to high school. And we also have tips for parents. And there's lots of different resources on there as well. So we even talk about some hard-hitting questions, some difficult questions that kids may bring up, like, why can you drink alcohol but I can't? Or have you ever used drugs? So those can be challenging questions to answer, and we give resources for parents on there as well.
Why is having a conversation like this so important?
It's so important, and especially one of the reasons why we encourage this is that we want to reduce the opioid epidemic, and we want to strengthen our families, and encouraging families and parents and children to talk to one another will allow these difficult topics to not feel so awkward. And that way when a kid is experiencing something or they see something with a friend, they're more likely to talk to a trusted adult about these difficult topics.
Now, Tara, with a website like this, as valuable as it is, what information or what advice do you have for parents that are really struggling right now and could use the Harford Talks website?
So I would say is to really go on the website. Now is a good time to have the conversations before something happens. So when there is a crisis, it's often difficult to bring up topics like this. So if you start talking about it at an early age, they're aware and they know that they can go to you at any time and talk about their mental health. Students can recognize it early on themselves and be advocates for themselves.
Tara, thank you so much for the hard work that you're doing here, and it really is making a difference in Harford County.
Thank you.
Now, coming up next, we're going to hear about a brand new resource right here in our county, the Parent Academy. That's next. Mary Beth Stapleton is the manager of Family and Community Partnerships, and she is here to tell us all about their wonderful services. Mary Beth, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me today.
Now, Mary Beth, brand new this year, the Parent Academy. Tell us about this.
So the Parent Academy isn't a new initiative across the country. It's just in Harford County new. It's actually an outreach for parents to support them in raising children, understanding the homeschool connection, supporting schools and the outreach that they're doing with their parent community and their family community, just trying to really be very intentional about making sure that we have support for parents and understanding of what it means to have children successful in school. We know that children are actually, most of the calendar year, are actually with their families in the community, more so in the school. Only 20% of their time is spent in the school building. So 80% is with their family and in the community. So we really have to make sure that those outside supports are the best they can be.
What has been the overall response from the parents?
It's been overwhelming. We've really had a lot of interest around the county, hundreds and hundreds of parents. We've been fortunate enough to partner with the county government, with community services, and secure some national speakers who've been able to come in and speak with parents, and we've been able to have school-based workshops available as well. So it's been really overwhelming. We've created a video series, Parent Academy Real Talk. So we know that our families are sometimes working in the evening or busy with their children's activities. So we really want to make sure that we have videos available that if parents want to in the evening when they have some downtime, go on and learn about some of these topics in a video format, we have those available as well.
Now, I know there's a lot of questions asked. So let's go over some of the frequently asked questions that you're getting from parents and even probably students.
Frequently asked questions include how do we support homework and how do we make sure that we're really doing what we need to do to make sure children are prepared for the school day at home. And what we were fortunate enough to have this year is our Teachers of the Year, who actually created a video and talked specifically about how parents can help. The biggest thing is just communication with the teacher, making sure that they're on top of what kids are learning in the classroom so they can support that at home. Another topic that's coming up is how do we prepare for career and for college? How do we make sure that our children are on track? So we've had some workshops on how to, financially prepare, as well as making sure that, the coursework is up to speed and that they really are prepared and ready. So the other thing has been around social emotional and social media. Yeah. Really the impact of social media on the day-to-day for families, and how can we manage that as a community, and how do we manage that as a family, because it can be stressful at times to not know exactly how to direct your children. And so we've had some experts in to speak to parents about how to do that.
Where can families go to learn more and help to keep them informed?
We have a Facebook page. It's HCPS Parent Academy on Facebook. If you like us on Facebook, all of our information is there. We also, on the HCPS web page, we have a parent drop down, and you'll see Parent Academy, and you can just click on there and you'll see all the information. We update that frequently on the calendar events that we have coming up, and we also have all of our videos on there as well.
Mary Beth, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kristy.
Now, what are the biggest challenges of raising kids today, and what are some of the most asked questions by parents? It's straight ahead. Stay with us. Kristy Breslin and Susan Birchfield are the directors of Raising Amazing, a new program here in Harford County. Ladies, we are so excited about this. I know it's about a year in the making. And tell us about how it got started and the background that led you to develop something like this.
Well, I'm a special educator. I currently service children K through 5, and I am a parent of 3 great kids.
Aww.
I'm a school counselor currently at an elementary school. I also have spent time as a high school counselor, and I also raise 2 challenging kids every day. And Susan and I work together, but one day just decided that our talents as a special educator and a school counselor offered a unique approach to parenting that we could help other people who we know.
Now, Kristy, tell me about Raising Amazing. What is the organization and how long have you been around?
Well, we are celebrating our first anniversary. It's been an exciting year. We've been able to do a lot of networking and trying a lot of things out. Primarily, Raising Amazing operates to provide a resource to parents who are raising elementary age children. A lot of the things we do talk about hold true for middle school and high school students as well, but primarily our target audience is elementary school students and parents. We try to provide a platform to share current research in child development and also current parenting trends that are in the news, and try to really aim to help build a bridge between parents and children in this modern day that is so tricky.
Susan, what events and resources do you offer for parents and guardians?
Well, we're currently offering a variety of classes. One of the classes that we're offering is called Stop Talking So Your Kids Will Listen.
Okay. I like that.
Great title, right?
Yeah.
And so in that one, we're fostering independence in children, or teaching parents how to help foster independence in their children, strengthening relationships with their children, and being able to have open communication with their kids. And this one is a great class because it's very interactive, and we do a lot of role playing, and we make a lot of resources during this class that parents can take away with them and implement as soon as they leave. And so it's gotten great feedback.
What do you see as some of the hardest challenges for parents raising kids today?
Well, I definitely think that parental pressure is a tough one right now. If you think of Aunt Becky, that just had some
snowplow
parenting.
And we all fall into that trap occasionally, and we work hard to try to figure out how we can help parents to not take the bait on that and not feel the pressures of society. It's so easy to make those mistakes as parents because we just want to love our kids, but sometimes we love them into overcompensating for them and creating dependent children rather than independent children. Also,
right. We need to let kids fail so that they can learn from those failures and move forward with some strategies on how to just plan better for when they're in those types of situations. If we're removing all of the obstacles for them, then they never know how to move forward on their own.
Now, I have to bring in social media here. It's a good thing, a bad thing. Do you think it has made things easier for us in society or harder?
Oh,
Both.
gosh, both.
Both.
I mean, easily that's both. It creates an excellent platform for many things for students that are very positive, but with the good always comes the bad. And what we want to help students do and families do is figure out how to harness all of those good things that can happen and navigate all of those risks that come too. The pressures that come from missing out on things or to keep up with people can create fear, and when we parent out of fear, we can usually make a mistake. So that's kind of where we try to help parents create that balance.
And that's another class that we'll be offering is about technology and how to monitor internet use and how to talk about internet safety and navigate apps that are great for families to use and some that parents should be very cautious and leery of.
Now, Kristy, how can organizations reach you to maybe schedule an event?
Well, we have a website, which is www.raisingamazing.org, and you can always contact us on our website. You can also contact us by email at contact@raisingamazing.org.
Thanks, Kristy, and thank you, Susan. It was great having you guys on today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Well, as we all know, we all have conflicts in our daily lives. How do we resolve them? We'll have those answers coming up next. I'm joined with Natasha Jackson. She is the manager for the Office of Human Relations, Mediation, and Volunteerism, a woman of many talents, and she's here to tell us about some very exciting new developments. Hi, Natasha.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Natasha, tell us exactly what you do there at the Office of Human Relations, Mediation, and Volunteerism.
So the Office of Human Relations, Mediation, and Volunteerism is, like you said, very busy. We are in charge of Human Relations, which is the department of the county that is designed to help protect people from discrimination. So we cover people who are protected under the 7 protected classes. Mediation is an opportunity for people with conflict to come to the table, have a conversation, and resolve their conflict. And the volunteer portion is we're in charge of specific events around the community where we celebrate volunteers and also give opportunities for volunteers to serve.
Let's talk a little bit more about conflict resolution. Can you elaborate on it?
So conflict resolution, again, is an opportunity for people with conflict to come to a table to resolve their conflict. It is an alternative to a lot of the normal means that we would use to resolve conflict. So we want to allow people to avoid the court systems and allow people to avoid jail. So they come to conflict resolution and mediation to resolve those conflicts themselves. And research shows that people who participate in mediation are more likely to follow through with the decisions that they make on their own.
Is this a one-time event, something that you do periodically or something that you do daily?
All of the above. It's however the participants want to mediate. So we have people who have a specific conflict and they come and try to work that out. We have people who come proactively and say, hey, we are anticipating a conflict and we'd like to work through that. We also have people who recognize that their relationships, like parents or parenting plans, we recognize that their relationships are going to be ongoing. So they may come once a year to do a mediation proactively to resolve any parenting conflicts. So it just really depends on what the participants' needs are.
Now, what services do you offer for parents and families? I know there's quite a few.
One of the biggest programs that we have is the Peaceful Alternatives Program. We have a partnership with Harford County we have a partnership with Harford County Public Schools that allows us to go into all of Harford County Public Schools and create conflict resolution classes for our youth. We also can do mediations where we get referrals from the school resource officer or the administration, and it allows the youth to resolve the conflict on their own as opposed to getting involved in the juvenile justice system or any other mainstream way of resolving conflict. So it's a way to allow them not to be involved with the police and courts.
Now, if we're interested, how can we find out more? And is there a fee for this?
All of our services, fortunately, are free. We are grant funded and we are supported through the county. So the only thing we'll ask you is for a little bit of demographics, but for the most part, we're absolutely free. We also offer our services through the gracious service of volunteers that come and become trained to be mediators, and they provide mediation services throughout the county. If you're looking for mediation services, you can go to harfordmediation.org, and that is our website on the Harford County website. You can go there and get all kinds of information about all the programs that we offer.
Thank you so much, Natasha, for everything that you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, Harford County helps our citizens in any way that they can. What are we doing to combat the mental health crisis? Those details are straight ahead. Vicki Brandkamp is the Deputy Director of the Harford County Crisis Response, and she is here to tell us about the many services they provide and how they can help you. Vicki, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure, really, anytime. Thank you very much for having me.
One thing I did want to ask you right off the bat is, are all these services confidential?
Everything is confidential. Nothing gets shared with anybody unless the client wants us to, and then they'd have to sign a release of information.
Now, Vicki, the Mobile Crisis Team is a group of first responders for the individuals or groups that are experiencing a mental health crisis. Now, if you or someone you know, a family member, a friend, a parent, anybody, if they need these services, what is the number they can call?
So the mobile crisis number is 1-800-NEXT, N-E-X-T, STEP, S-T-E-P, and all they have to do is call that.
Can you run us through exactly what happens when someone first calls the crisis line?
All right, so they'll call the number, and the phone will be answered by a crisis phone counselor. The phone counselor will answer the phone, Harford County Crisis Response, what's your crisis? And it gives that person the opportunity to explain what they're dealing with right now, kind of like 911.
Right.
You know, so the the phone counselor at that time will take information from the person, kind of a small intake over the phone, get an idea of what their needs are. Sometimes it can be addressed right on the phone by the phone counselor. Maybe somebody's calling for referrals or just need somebody to talk to that night to talk them out of a panic attack or hear them vent. Today we had somebody that needed to vent about a psychiatrist that they didn't feel was like listening to their concerns. But the crisis counselor can also then figure out if in that triage mobile crisis needs to be dispatched to go out to the home. Most often that's what's going to happen. We do get a lot of referral calls, so it's either somebody calling for a referral or somebody calling that needs us to come out and just kind of talk to them. Sometimes it's a family member that'll call in asking for us to come out and meet with a family member because they're concerned. Maybe that person has mentioned something about feeling like they wanted to die. And so then we dispatch out into the community.
Now, I know you have a very active role with the Harford County Public Schools.
We've always gone out to the public schools. So mobile crisis, even before our new grant, we dispatch out to the schools. If a child is assessed for suicidal ideation or there's some concerns about self-harming behavior, the schools call us. We go out so we can do a quick assessment on the scene and see what the next step needs to be. We have to have the family there to meet with those clients. Unless that child's feeling suicidal, then we can assess because it's an emergency situation. But we saw the need in the school last year. We got a lot of calls, younger each year. It really kind of is upsetting. A lot of middle school calls we get now. And so I met with Bernard Hedigan, who is Executive Director for Student Services last year, and he and I put our heads together to figure out what we need to do next. We applied for a grant for a program that's a school stable intervention specialist. Right now it's one person, and she's been very busy. Hope is the need, we'll see the need, and then we maybe can get some more money for next year to increase those services. But what she does is she goes out and she works kind of as a liaison between the family and the school. Mm-hmm. Her dispatches usually are for more behavioral concerns, so an acting out child that nobody can seem to calm down, somebody maybe with special needs or not, somebody who's just maybe dealing with some life crises or home crises. She goes out, she helps with the stabilization, she can work with the staff on interventions they can use for the next time, so maybe it doesn't get so out of control, and then she meets with the families and kinds of works on coordination of care. So, what they're doing in school, we want mom to be doing at home, and so she can work on that. She can also go to IEP meetings with the parents. She will be doing some trainings for staff this year to give them some ideas of interventions they can use in a situation like that, make them more aware of what may cause some of those behaviors.
Right.
Because, in a busy day, a teacher doesn't always recognize what the trigger may have been. So
absolutely.
She can work with the school on those kinds of issues.
Now, how can the community get more information on mobile crisis? How can we find out when we can obtain your services, how we can obtain your services, and basically run us through what will happen?
They can call the 800 number, and the phone counselor would be happy anytime to just share information about mobile crisis and what our services are, how they can use us. We can also help connect them to the crisis center because we are kind of the front line. So we answer even for the crisis center calls, and then we can kind of direct them to where they need to go. They can call the crisis center, ask for me directly, and I can come out and do a presentation if they need, or bring out brochures, flyers. But one call will get them any information they need.
Vicki, thank you so much. You're doing such an important job here in our county, and it's a service that is so much needed.
You're very welcome anytime. Thank you for having me.
Well, as you've seen, there's help out there, and it's available for you, family, friends, anybody here in Harford County. Knowledge is power.
As you've seen in the past 30 minutes, it is so important to talk to our kids about all the issues youth are facing today. Start the conversation. Get the answers to those hard-hitting questions with Harford Talks. To learn more about this wonderful program, you can visit them at harfordcountymd.gov. I'm Kristy Breslin. See you next month on Harford MagaScene.